Hello everyone, it's Hannah here from Virtually Fluent. Welcome to today's video, which is an upper intermediate grammar video on the topic of the first and second conditionals. We have already taught these two conditionals separately in prior videos. It's really important that you do understand those structures really well before watching this video. If you'd like to recap them, I will leave the links in the description below, because today we're going to put both of them together so that we can see the differences between the first and second conditionals. If you would like to practice today's grammar topic, we do have an online supporting grammar course, and I will leave the link to that also in the description below. But for now, let's get started with first versus second conditional. So let's have a quick recap about conditional sentences in English, because they can be really tricky to grasp. So conditional sentences are always split into two parts. We have event A and event B. Event A is a scenario and event B is the consequence if this scenario takes place. Remember, we have lots of different conditionals. We have the zero, first, second, third, and then different types of mixed conditionals too. Today, we're just going to have a look at the first and second conditionals and put them side by side so you understand exactly when you need to use each of these in English speaking and writing. You can see a perfect example of a conditional sentence here. If you sit in the sun for 10 hours, you will burn. Here we have event A, if you sit in the sun for 10 hours, and we have the consequence, event B, you will burn. So let's have a look at the first conditional first. The first conditional requires the if part of the sentence to be with the present simple, and the consequence, event B, will be with the will future, which is will plus the infinitive. Of course, both of these parts could also be in the negative forms, and you can also use conditionals in question forms too. For example, if it rains, we will have the party inside. Traditionally, we teach the first conditional to be used when you are giving threats, promises, trying to persuade people, and for talking about future plans. In this particular example, our scenario, event A, is if it rains, and our consequence, event B, is we will have the party inside. When teaching conditionals, we tend to talk about the probability of an event happening. It's really important that we're only focusing on the probability of the scenario, not the consequence. So in this particular example, our scenario is the rain. How likely is it that it's going to rain? How likely is this scenario event A? In the first conditional, it's really important that this event A, this scenario, is highly likely. It's a genuine possibility. It's very real. In this example, that it could rain. The consequence is just there to tell us what happens if this highly likely event does happen. If it does rain, then we will have the party inside. By upper intermediate level, it's really important that you start to recognize different types of conditionals. At the very basic levels in English, we teach if plus present simple and then will plus infinitive in the first conditional. But it's really important to acknowledge that there are lots of alternatives. We may use lots of other words instead of if. For example, when, as long as soon as, providing that. And we may use some other alternatives to will. For example, may, might, could. Let's move on to the second conditional now, with the same idea that we have two parts in our conditionals. In second conditional, event A, our scenario, is the if clause, which is going to be with the past simple tense. And the second part is the would plus infinitive. It's really important to note that this has nothing to do with the past tense. It's just used in this conditional structure. Typically, we teach that second conditional is used for unlikely future situations or hypothetical situations. For example, if I won the lottery, I would buy a house. In this particular example, event A, our scenario, is winning the lottery. And it's really important that in the second conditional, this particular scenario is highly unlikely or potentially even impossible. There is still a high chance that the consequence may happen, in this case buying a house, but it's only going to happen if our first scenario plays out. in this case winning the lottery, and that particular event, that scenario, has a really small probability. There's very, very small chance of winning the lottery. Again, it's important to note that we have some alternative structures in the second conditional. We often use the verb to be, which is this if I were you. Really important to note that the verb to be uses its subjunctive form in the second conditional, so it's actually were for all of the subjects, if I were, if you were, if he were, etc. We can also use the alternative structure happened to. If it happened to rain, and that would be plus the infinitive. You may want to replace the word would in the second part too with could, might, or add some extra words like would probably, would definitely. So when we put both of these conditionals side by side, of course the structures are completely different. The grammar is very different. We're using different tenses to create them. But the important thing is to only really focus on event A, that scenario. How likely is it that that event could happen? If there's a real possibility that that event could happen, you want to be using the first conditional. If there's a very small chance, very unlikely, if not impossible, then you want to be using the second conditional instead. If you would like to practice using both the first and second conditionals side by side, please take our online supporting grammar course. We also look at some typical native expressions that are used in both first and second conditionals, and we talk about the tone of these sentences too. For example, one conditional may be used to be slightly more polite, whilst another conditional is used to be more direct and decisive. All of that can be found in our online supporting course. If you enjoyed today's video or learnt something new, go ahead and give us a like, a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn notifications on so you know exactly when we release new English grammar, pronunciation and vocabulary videos. That's everything for today. This is Hannah from Virtually Fluent, bringing English to life.